Alright, everyone. Welcome back to a laggy turnabout. I took a break 2 days ago. I was supposed to continue yesterday, but the website went offline for some reason. Probably for maintenance. I don't know. Whatever the case, let's continue. The crime as I witnessed it. I wanted to press. If you don't know where I am right now, you have to watch the previous videos. Seriously. It's an Ace Attorney fan case. There's a lot to keep up with. Are you usually the first one to arrive? Yes. And there was no one hiding in the workshop, maybe. Already I'm I have to clear my throat. No! You're sure of this? The doors are permanently locked. Who has keys? Me and Travis. Travis? So you're sure there wasn't anyone else there? For the third time, yes. He looks suspicious? Is there any time where that man doesn't look suspicious? Good point. Touche. She got you with that one. Talk with him? Nope. You didn't wonder what he was doing in front of your workshop? I did, but Travis got there before I talked to Brushall. So Travis got there a while later. Yep. For reference, I watched the intro again, because I had to. And I think I have an idea of who the guilty suspect is, unless there's going to be way more characters introduced here. There should be, honestly. If it's only like one new character, you kind of know who's the one who did the crime. But then again, this is a fan case. It might throw a curveball and point out that Phoenix is the one who was guilty or something. You know why? No, Travis asked to borrow the side room and then he was gone. Was there anything weird about Travis? I guess he may have been a bit cross with Mr. Brushall's visit. He wasn't expecting Mr. Brushall? Is that important? Extremely important, I guess. Your Honor, this last statement is incredibly important. Please add it to the testimony. Isn't that totally useless, though? I don't see why not. Witness, please add it to your testimony. Okay. Travis wasn't expecting Mr. Brushall and became annoyed with his visit, but didn't he go into the side room with him? That's why I added that statement, because I figured it would be really important. Are you sure? So you don't know why he was annoyed. That's probably because of Mr. Brushall. But I'm not sure. Moving on. I'm looking back through the evidence right now. Okay, I don't think I have anything right now. Oh, right. I have to present my bracelet at some point, right? I think a Phoenix will remind me of that, but I can present my bracelet for when there's two contradictory statements on the stand, or it's supposed to be when the person on the stand rather is has a tick, a physical tick. Travis smoked that day. This seems important. Is it? Oh wait, the autopsy report. That's right. Smoked shortly before death. Well, we already know that, so like, it doesn't hurt to add these statements. Because there's literally no, like, unless it actually changes the previous added statement to not being added, there's no reason not to add a statement. Oh, that is a contradiction. Because the autopsy report says that he smoked... Oh, wait, no, never mind. It actually does fit, because it says smoked shortly before death. So, while he was talking to Mr. Brushall, that is shortly before death. Save, press. Well... Oh, smartass. This isn't going anywhere. Travis only smokes when he's nervous or annoyed. There you have it. Isn't that why people normally smoke? Besides addiction? Okay, she is blushing right there. I barely noticed. I probably should readjust myself. Because I'm in a very lazy position. This should be better. Doesn't help that the screen that I'm looking into is really small though. It's kind of inconvenient that they made it this way. Can I enlarge it? No, I don't think I can. Like, I understand that they think, oh, well, if we make the screen larger, the sprites will be, like, super stretched out and stuff. But I don't care about that. The sprites are good looking regardless. Unless they're, like, super giant. Not psychic. The sound was not one I could identify as a gunshot. When did you know the sound Johnson's gun made? I don't know about you, but I'm not constantly on the hunt for gunshots. It did not cross my mind that it was Johnson's gun at a time. Curious I didn't knock on the door for reasons already mentioned. Were you not paying any attention to the detective's testimony? Possible for her to know who was inside the room. Sorry if I'm not voicing everything, but there's a lot to cover. I thought this was gonna be a short one, but I think I'm just starting. I mean, this is like the top case, the top turnabout on the website, so there's gotta be a lot more to it than expected. Because if you've seen the assistant's turnabout, you know that case had a lot more to it as well, and this one is supposed to be even better. Supposedly, it's like, it's just one of the top cases because of reasons. We'll see. Like, that's why I'm playing it. We're trying to find out. Hurry up, Rich slips up and says something impossible. Save. Okay. Okay, I don't know what's the contradiction with the evidence, so I'm gonna present my bracelet in the 2 added statements, see if that does anything. Actually, I could present the profiles though. Let me check that to make sure. Okay, whatever. I'll try presenting the bracelet. Like, this is literally me just guessing right now, though. Yeah, that didn't do anything. Huh. Okay. Okay. I thought for a second there would not be a penalty. That's weird, though. Let's try presenting the bracelet here. Gotcha! Oh, really? That statement? Okay. Just gonna reload real quick because I don't want a penalty.
Gotcha!
Gotcha. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, because he was inside. And you can't make out any sense. Oh, yeah. I actually, like, when I was looking at Brushell's profile, it says you can't make out any sense on him. I thought, oh, maybe that has something to do with it. And turns out it does. I was just checking something. Saw him smoking inside the side room. Where else? The room with no windows. Uh-huh. You said it yourself. It was impossible for me to know what was going on inside the room. What? My impeccable testimony! Oh dear lord. Adding statements is totally cheating. And setting up a testimony totally isn't. Totally. Basically, Miss Mike, there's no way you saw him smoking. But if that's the case, where did that idea come from? Okay, actually, this works because the thing about the bracelet is that it's its own special mode, and I assume that it's not really possible to replicate in this fan case maker, something like that, or it would take a lot of effort. Made a mistake. A mistake? But he did smoke that day! Yes, he did. He did smoke that day. No, that definitely shouldn't be happening, Your Honor. I've always got proof. Now that's really weird. So he did smoke that day, yet somehow you knew it. A cigarette butt. That's really weird. Oh, this is really weird. I'm just following it right now. I'm just following this case. I'm interested in it now. I'm getting into it. You somehow knew he smoked in the room, but you didn't see him do so or find the butt. I don't want to be taken for a blinkered old coot, but this looks mighty dodgy to me. You see, I think the witness is all out of excuses now. You know, there's really no need to lie. You're not guilty, are you? Then it's fine. She liked him. Did she? She brightened up all of a sudden. She remembers now. Remembers what? The smell. True, but unfortunately I already checked that. You can't get the smell from Brushell. At least when Brushell is around. The defendant, he leaves a nauseating mint smell wherever he goes. It's impossible to make out any other sense next to him. Isn't that bribing the judge? I was there for that, actually. You're not the only one with outrageously bad luck in witnesses. Anyway, it was because of the smell. And you only remember this now? Yeah. Well, I guess memory is kind of like that. I totally get you, Popsy. I'm getting tired of being the foil here. Don't you want to play the straight man for a bit? I guess I sometimes forget to pay the wages. I kind of understand that. Don't you join them too? With a straight face? Very well, the witness may amend her testimony. But please be careful not to make the same mistake again. Your testimony is important. Uh-huh. No. Gonna present Brushell's portrait here. Present Brushell. I have a question for the witness. I could have pressed a statement too, but I already know. What does it smell like right now? Mint. So that's what it was. It really is ruining my mood. It makes me want to finish the trial as soon as possible. That's not good. Will you stop at nothing to get yourself arrested, Mr. Brushell? Indeed, there's an overpowering mint smell in the air right now, isn't there? Do you recognize it? There's no reason why I would. But you're right, I do seem to recognize it. Then I'll tell you why that is. I'm just gonna adjust my camera right here. I don't like it when it's not directly pointing at me. That's the problem. Does it look fine? Yes, it should look fine. Then I'll tell you what that is. You've smelled it at a crime scene before! How? What? What do you mean, Mr. Justice? This nauseating mint smell comes from the defendant, Spark Brushell. As you can see, it's practically impossible to make out any other scent when next to him. But that's not proof. That's just a possibility. It may be hard, but I could have still smelled the tobacco. So that's what it was. The entire investigation team was complaining it smelled like mint. They even tried lighting some incense at some point. It didn't work. Is that the kind of thing they should be doing at the crime scene? So this is the kind of police work Edward has to deal with, huh? Well, Stuffy seems right at home, though. Actually, we had to switch the guards at the detention center every couple of hours, since they couldn't take it for long. What a troublesome defendant in retrospect. Your Honor, this witness has, for some reason, been lying to us since the beginning of the trial. I say there is no way a verdict can be reached with this kind of witness. I have to agree. Miss Might! If you do not tell us the truth immediately, all your testimony will be disregarded. I'll say it. I'll say it. After I entered the room and saw Travis lying there, I was in shock. Mr. Brushell, he just sat down again, writing something on a notebook. Once I recovered, I left the room and called the police. Don't worry, I was watching the doorway the whole time. When I came back, though, he'd finished whatever he was doing and just stood there, nervous. That's when I took off Travis's jacket and tied it around the gunshot wound. I thought that might help stop the bleeding. As for Brushell, when I was being questioned by the police, I found a couple of things hidden behind hidden behind a shelf. It was a pure coincidence I found them, but I'm sure Mr. Brushell hid those things there. It was a page from a notebook, which I've got here. It's really weird. I don't understand what he's talking about. When I read this, I guess it got stuck in my mind that Travis smoked that day. Then why didn't you tell us about this right away? If Mr. Brushell hid this, I thought he didn't want the police to find it. There must have been a reason. I was trying to figure that out. What a sort of excuse is this? Does she think she can get away with it? Oh, I see, that makes sense. Of course she can. Let us see what this note is all about. How peculiar, it seems he really hid this. There's some notes on the victim too. Okay, new thing added to the court record. Let's look at it. Notes written by Brushell at the time of the crime. Very unclear and confusing. Oh boy! Finally convinced him to have a chat with me. This is the time I'll get it out of him. Uncooperative as ever. He refuses to admit it, even though I've showed him the photos. I'll probably have to talk to someone else, like his sister. He's already smoked a bunch of cigarettes. I didn't know he smoked. Side note, he seems to be a bit pale and airheaded. I wonder if it has to do with what we're talking about. Did something happen at home? Travis just fell down on the floor. He seems to be dead. I'll need to hide my research somewhere. I've opened the door for Might, and I'll let her deal with the police. Ugh, Brushell, you idiot. There's a thing that she mentioned that I actually think is also going to cause another contradiction. She mentioned that he was bleeding out. However, the autopsy report says that he did not bleed out. He likely passed out from the shock, but he didn't bleed out. It's just that the bullet wound was untreated. So I think what she was actually trying to do is hide the bullet wound. I also found something else along with that page. There were these photos as well. Okay, so I was wondering about those. Photographs, allow me to see them. Hoo-hoo, what a cozy little house. Lots of protection, too. Yes, you must be careful about that with young children. So, Rachel didn't carry... Oh, house interior photos. I can't look at them. The photos show various corner protectors around a house. These were taken by Spark Brushel, although we don't know how or when. Okay, corner protectors. That's mentioned in Brushel's article. Basically, it's about congenital analgesia. Basically, people who feel need to protect themselves because they don't feel pain or something like that. In light of this, patients suffering from this tend to be sheltered and wear protective equipment in order to avoid damaging themselves without their knowledge. That house that we just saw. Sorry for stopping so often, but that's what I'm doing. What a strange set of evidence. I don't see how they connect at all. Witness, do you swear this is the only thing you were hiding? Yes, everything else is true. You've certainly done a good job at building trust thus far. Now then. This course is at a loss in regards as to what to do. New evidence has been presented. Can either the defense or the prosecution make sense of it? Don't look at me. I'm as clueless as he is. Prosecution does not seem to have any theories either. If neither the prosecution nor the defense have anything further to bring up, then I suppose it is time to pass judgment. Again? Isn't this like the fifth time? How many times do I need to prove she's lying to our faces? Wait, no, think, Apollo, think! You need to come up with something or this time it might really end. Object, object, and object. Object! No, I desperately object. That's basically what I'm doing. The defense believes there remain some crucial doubts about the case. That came out good. You seem convinced. Pray tell, what are these doubts? Right, still need to point it out. Time to think it through. I already figured it out. I think I figured it out. It's important to note that ace attorney logic, you have to connect the evidence to the case first before you can bring it up, even if it already is a contradiction. By the blood. That's what I'm gonna ask about. Miss Mike, I'd like to ask about the blood. Was the victim bleeding out by the time you got there? He seems to have a gunshot wound, but nobody's mentioned any blood thus far. Miss Mike. He was not bleeding out. The blood was hardly noticeable too. That's indubitably true. Didn't you notice he was the victim when I first got there? Oh yes, I wondered what he was doing there, lying down in the middle of a crime scene. When I sleep on the job, I'm much more discreet than that. But then, you know what? But then I noticed he wasn't wearing a uniform. As any civil servant worth salt would do, I then proceeded to give him a lecture on the spot. Wow, I must have heard getting a lecture from the likes of him, even though he's dead. It was then that a nice constable told me he was the victim. Nice chap, really. Anyway, I took his jacket off, and then then I saw his wound. Why did you take his jacket off? Because he'd just fallen over for no apparent reason, she says angrily. I went to check what was wrong with this time. This time, yeah, because he's got a lot of wounds from his past. Actually, I got a picture of the crime scene. I didn't notice it got stuck inside the paramount evidence I should present file. You got a file called that? Organizing first, I say. Sure, whatever you say. The picture expertly taken by our experts. Can I actually look at the picture? No, I can't. Shows the victim's wound in the crime scene. There's hardly any blood. What little there was having been absorbed by his inner clothes. Had been absorbed by his inner clothes. It's a typo, I think. I don't think there's anything wrong. So let's go. Jacket. Miss Might, I'd like to hear more about the jacket. The jacket. Is it orange? Well? Oh wow, looks more like a blouse. Jacket worn by the victim. Slightly bloody. Contains the victim's and the witness's fingerprints. Found tied around the victim's wound. The photograph shows the victim's wound in the crime scene. There's hardly any blood. What little there... Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have to check all of the statements first. But the new evidence. Miss Might, I have a question about this evidence of yours. What is it? This was written by Spark Brushell, correct? How about the pictures? Where are they now? So I'm gonna check the notes now again. Well, I think I have to object right now, but I'm not sure what I'm objecting to. I want to say that there's some inconsistency about when the police arrived, but I don't know if that's where it's gonna go. It's probably just gonna give me a penalty, to be honest. So, safety save. How can you know if you just found them behind a shelf? Have you even read the notes? Ugh. Right. Okay, so that wasn't it. So, if it's not about the new evidence, it's gotta be about... I'm gonna have to ask about the jacket, I'm pretty sure. Or object about the jacket. Because, based on what the crime scene picture is saying, it seems to imply that the jacket wasn't tied around the wound when the picture was taken. Something like that, but it's... off. And apparently it's the wrong thing. Maybe. Miss Might, you knocked on the door to the side room immediately after the shot, yes? I did. Another question. Travis was wearing the jacket when you opened the door, yes? Absolutely, she said as much earlier, right? And I've got one final question. Why is... Ah, that was the thing. That was the thing. Why is there no bullet hole on this jacket? Huh? Travis was shot in the back. The thing is, at that point in time, he was wearing his jacket. Ah, fiddlesticks! This is true. Why is there no hole in the jacket? That's because I made a mistake. Oh my goodness. A mistake. How unexpected. Did her eyes flash red for a moment? Like really, really red? I think it might be an animation mistake. Yes, a mistake. He wasn't actually wearing the jacket. It was a slip of the tongue. Again. Oh, I agree. It was definitely a slip of the tongue, but what you said was the truth! What? I think you're trying to incriminate Brushell! You're annoying me now. I've got an appropriate toy for you. Wanna play? What? Witness, spraying out dynamite is entirely disreputable. Not to mention too dangerous for my fur. What is going on? Order in this courtroom. Ace Attorney games are always just silly. They're, like the 5th game literally had a bomb in the courtroom. 2, in fact. Two courtrooms, 2 bombs, something like that. You guys really are explosive. This is just a prop. One of the things I'm working on at the workshop. Ugh. You nearly gave me a heart attack. Bombastic, isn't it? Did I see an image right there? I think it's just Phoenix or something. Like a glitch in the system. Maybe. She may be trying to scare us or lead the conversation astray. But I can still prove you're trying to incriminate Mr. Brushell. Earlier today we uncovered a simple fact, which I thought was unconnected to the case. Until now! This fact completely changes your perspective on Mr. Brushell, Miss Dynamite. Not following you, Apollo. It has to be Brushell's article. Yeah. Usually we'd have no reason to assume you bear any ill will against anyone. However, just earlier today we found out you are the ex-wife of Mr. Cromwell. Mr. Brushell didn't obey your wishes in relation to the deceased. And now you're taking this as a chance to exact revenge on Mr. Brushell. What? My husband died last week. My coworker died yesterday. Now you're pinning this on me? You're crazy. It's exactly because so much has happened that you became emotional. Both Johnson and Travis were friends of yours, right? It's natural you're trying to have the killer arrested, but you're going about it the wrong way. I am not. In the first place, your theory is absurd. If you think I'm incriminating Brushell, then nothing I say matters to you, right? But what about the judge? Do you think I'm incriminating Brushell just because the jacket makes no sense? I do think it's a bit early to discount everything you've said. You were ready to do that just earlier. It's clear as day this witness is untrustworthy. She literally pulled a bomb on us. Not so fast. Hold on. Let's not botch this up. I don't want to make any more entirely duff arguments here. So, like, can you think of any other points the witness is lying about? Oh, maybe we have her testify? It'll help us spot inconsistencies. That also mean I'm doing a good job, right? I can get her now. I will get her now. Permission reluctantly granted. The witness has shown us that she is not the most reliable and should be put under further scrutiny still. I shall make sure to be severe in my judgment. Understood, witness? I am not lying, Your Honor. You'll see. This'll be fun. You open your mouth for the first time in ages and that's all you gotta say? Oh, so she's just gonna hold a prop. Okay. I will tell you everything that happened that day, and I'll show you nothing's wrong. When I arrived that morning, Brushell was waiting for Travis. Travis arrived sometime later, wearing his jacket, and went to the side room with Brushell. They locked themselves in there. Not 10 minutes passed when I finally heard the shot. I immediately knocked on the door since it was locked. Brushell opened right away. When I got in, the jacket was actually on the chair. I was the one who tied it around the wound. There wasn't all that much blood, probably because it was so soon after shooting him. But it was pointless. When I got there, it was too late. He died. I went to call the police. I kept a watch on the door. Brushell kept writing and panicking. That is everything you did that day. Everything. The only other thing I did was finding those documents behind a shelf. This is it. I prove her wrong here, and the prosecution's case goes down the drain. The thing is, Apollo, this is pretty much the same testimony as earlier. And earlier we caught her on a minor detail, the cigarette. She's not making the same mistake twice. We'll just have to catch her again on something. Somehow. I like your spirit. Let's go find this something. Somehow. Okay. Time to press everything, then present randomly. I am not lying. You all saw her eyes flash red at one moment, right? You should, I hope the video caught it. I really do hope the video caught it, because it's 30 frames per second instead of 60 frames per second, but I really do hope it caught it. Because it's good, it's a neat little touch, I feel. Because when a witness is going into their second phase, they tend to have these changes to them, and the prop with the dynamite is nice, but the flashing eyes was something you basically barely see, so much that you don't know if it actually happened. That I like it a lot, that's why I keep mentioning it. Anyway, why are you making this so difficult? We've got you lying multiple times. Why are you doing this? Because some people don't deserve their fates. Be out cause you are a puppet. I'm not lying. I'll tell you everything that happened that day. When I arrived in the morning, Brushell was waiting for Travis. And you just went about your usual routine? I actively avoided talking to him since, you know, he wasn't any more suspicious than usual, so I ignored him. Imagine my surprise when they locked themselves in there. I asked this earlier today, but do you know why they locked themselves in? Now that the documents are out, I think it's because it was a private interview. Whatever they were discussing was not to be heard by outside ears. Even Brushell's notes make no mention of any particulars. They're just plain confusing. As you've already proven today, I couldn't know anything that was going on inside. So I have no idea what they were talking about. Thus far it makes sense. She doesn't know much about what happened inside. About 10 minutes passed when I finally heard the shot. And you were close enough to hear that shot. Yes, I was walking by at the time. So they were only talking for less than 10 minutes. I suppose they could have talked a bit before when I saw them enter, but otherwise, yes. And she said seems contradicting thus far. This might be one particular interview where, cross-examination, where all you do is press everything, then it switches things up. Right, the fingerprints again. You got no objections this time, do you? Not about the door. Oh, really? Is it true? Did Brushell not do anything before opening the door? I'll check the notes again, I suppose. He says that he needs to hide his research somewhere. Yeah, so he must have tampered with something. That's not true and I can prove it! He needs to hide his research. They don't see it, damn it! Ugh. Dog jumped to the other side. Also, I got a text right now. Ugh. Just gonna have to answer this real quick. I'll keep the thing going. Goes back to this? Okay, y'all know what I wanted to say, right? It basically, Brushell's notes mentioned that he said that he needed to hide his research somewhere. But I guess I need to present the research itself? What was his research anyway? Maybe I need some more evidence. I don't know. I'll just keep going. First though, I'm gonna get back those that energy that I just lost. The spectacles clot. Yeah, that's right. So I'm gonna present the spectacles clot because that's what the prosecution is assuming Brushell used to shoot the gun. According to your claims, Yes, that's the train of logic I was talking about. Ace Attorney logic. You have to follow what the prosecution is saying, not what the case is saying. Apparently that wasn't it either, though. Maybe it was the gun itself that I should have presented. The gun. Yeah, of course. Train of logic. I wasn't following it. I think he just pulled a little trick I've been wanting to try for ages. Hands on your noggin. What? Oi, guys, it's just a murder weapon. I'm not gonna shoot anybody. Anyway, just put that down. Stop pointing around. Sheesh. Can you stop laughing from under the bench? But it's just so... Are we safe? Goodness gracious. You know, y'all missed what I was trying to say. So my genius today was, he just hid the pistol in his back pocket. What? That was my theory. I can talk for myself. When I went to call the police, I was watching over the doorway, but not the room itself. He would have had more than enough time to hide the murder weapon. So that didn't even do anything. So it must be this statement, probably. Just gonna check what she says and when I press again. Well, first things first, I guess I'll present my bracelet. Because I think there's a contradiction. Nope, not on it. Okay, if it's not the bracelet, I'm gonna present the jacket. That's not gonna work either, apparently. This may not be the statement, actually. But I'm gonna keep trying. The autopsy report. Okay. The autopsy report is what you have to present on that statement. From what Miss Might, I trust you. I believe that Travis was dead when you entered the room. Oh yes, that objection just screams trust. Oh no you don't, I trust her more than you do. She's my witness! Ha! Trust, objection and objection again. Can I continue? Yes. As I was... Trust. Okay, I'm done now. I'll make it quick. The autopsy report mentions the cause of death. Can I ask you what the cause of death was, witness? Where are you going with this? Travis had a bullet lodged in his back. What else could the cause of death be if not being shot? The victim did indeed die because of the shot, but he neither bled out nor did the bullet hit a vital organ. His actual cause of death proves that he should have not have been dead when he arrived at the side room. What? Why? I'll be blowed! Defense, explain your theory. We're all curious here. Yes, Your Honor. First, we need to establish the actual cause of death. Travis died from an untreated bullet wound. Oh yeah, the detective lectured me about those. If for some reason a bloke managed to survive being shot, no organs pierced, no bleeding out, then the last threat is the wound caused by the bullet and its impact. Even if it misses an organ, it can still cause trauma around the area and shut organs down. Poor Mr. WhiteHawke here suffered exactly that. Lucky enough to avoid an artery and an organ, but he still ended up dying. Sod's Law in full effect. Incidentally, I didn't have any of this written down, in case you were wondering. Or something. Precisely. What this all means is that some time occurred between the shot and the death. If, as we previously believed, the victim was shot and killed at that time, he would not have been dead when both you and the defendant checked the body. I thought you said you believed me. Right, I do remember you shouting quite a hearty bit of trust indeed. Well, about that. I do believe you, it's just. It's obviously impossible, it's just. Okay, those are my two options. I think both work, but I'll say I do believe you, it's just. I don't see how it would be possible as things stand. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that my client killed him. When Danya went in, he shouldn't have been dead yet. In short, I've caught you in your lies, Miss Might. Mr. Brushell could not have shot Travis that day. You're trying to incriminate my client. Order in the courtroom. Order. I'm still confused about a little detail. If he wasn't shot by Mr. Brushell, who shot him? What? Mr. Alcock died from a gunshot, right? However, you not only claimed he was wearing a jacket in the side room, you've just proven he had no time to die. Well, no, that came out wrong. Nevertheless, doesn't that make it impossible for him to have been killed at all? I guess that just made it a bit too hard for him to die, huh? That one is pretty big hole, Papolo. The prosecution is right. This may have been a very complex theory, but it seems that is all it was. Oh no, I got through the giant testimony. I'm not letting it end now. I don't think I'm wrong. The witness seems to be telling the truth. However, Stuffy is also right for once. The theory doesn't just make it impossible for Mr. Brushell to have killed him. It makes it impossible for anyone to have killed him, except himself. It's probably a suicide. There are two problems I need to tackle, the jacket and the time of death. Which shall I tackle first? I could do both, the jacket individually or the time of death individually. Let's do both! Why not both? Hold on, both of these problems are actually interconnected. At their core, both of them are saying that... There's three choices. Travis died with his line, or he was shot earlier. It says... I want to say he was shot earlier, but I don't know if this is the train of logic I should go with right now. I'll go with it. He was shot earlier anyway. He died when he didn't have it on. Where was Travis killed, really? So, inside the workshop, in the streets, or in this house? This house has only come up at one point, the house interior photos. So I'm gonna say in his house. Excludes his workplace where he arrived with the jacket on in the streets. At home is the only logical possibility. That's the only place where he wouldn't have wear his jacket. Assuming he went directly from his home to the workplace, that is. But it's still impossible. How would he walk around after being shot? Sorry, I skipped that, but it basically said the witness may have been shot outside. Yeah, something like that. Blimmin' heck! The victim was a zombie! Oh, I've always been so very afraid of those, very much so. The problems the witness has revealed are twofold. The victim was wearing a jacket in the side room, however it has no bullet hole. What does this imply? It suggests he wasn't shot in the side room. Well, I've also repeatedly suggested that a store that cleans my suits reduces their prices. It hasn't gotten me very far, I dare say. But if you look at those prices, they're a bit dear, I think. So let's say he was shot outside. That also fixes the other problem, the time of death. If he was shot before he got to the side room, then there was a greater length of time before the shot and his passing. In short, it makes sense. You're telling me that the witness getting shot and then walking around normally makes sense? You've got a way of wording things, Your Honor. Have you finished your blathering? It's not blathering, there's just a couple of things I can't quite explain yet. I think we all know now. Brushell's article mentions the congenital analgesia. I think the victim has that medical condition. That would explain everything. However, there's a fourth page that has OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Who has that disorder, I wonder? Maybe it's just there to lead us astray, a red herring. Like how the victim gets shot and then just goes to the side room as if nothing happened? Ugh! Oh, that is true. If I got shot, I'd probably head to the hospital myself. I imagine I'd be feeling fairly groggy at that point. No, this will not do. Your theory is looking increasingly unlikely, Defense. Let's check Brushall's notes again, though. Yeah, basically, Brushall's notes mentions that he's uncooperative as ever. He refuses to admit it, even though I've showed him the photos. The photos, in this case, being the house interior photos, or... Yeah, the house interior photos, which shows various corner protectors around the house. And they were taken by Spark Brushall, so... Spark Brushall was trying to prove to the victim that he's got the medical condition, congenital anesthesia, or whatever that is. So that's Brushall's reasons for doing everything. That's my theory right now. We don't know for sure, but... Oh gosh, it's a one, or it's all or nothing now. It is possible for the victim to have been shot outside the side room. What do I present now, I wonder? That's the problem right now. What do I present? Well, I want to present Brushall's article, so I'm gonna go with that. If it's not that, it's probably the house interior photos. Otherwise, it's probably something else. This is it. Yep. Okay. That is it. I do have to explain myself. I was given at the start of this trial. When I was reading through it, I got an idea. What if Travis suffered from congenital analgesia? I don't know how to say it, sorry. A condition which renders him unable to feel pain. Would a condition like that leave a medical record? The police would have found something, right? If his family wanted to hide it for some reason, then the hospital might have never known about it. Okay, then let's go with that. What? No, this is completely baseless. He's just throwing out things at random. I say there's plenty of evidence pointing towards it. First off, I've wondered about something since the start. What was Brushall doing there in the first place? As a reporter, he's always on the hunt for scoops. And I think he noticed a very interesting feature about a victim and tried to find out more. There's multiple things I could present here as well. There's the wounds that WhiteHawke has, but more specifically here, it's the house interior photos. Come on! I think you noticed a very interesting feature about a victim and trying to find out more. Well, yeah, specifically about the victim, not the house. Okay, I guess we'll go with the autopsy report. Yeah. Travis's body is full of wounds. This might try to play it off as merely work wounds, but they are too consistent and spread out for that. So you're saying those are caused by the condition. It makes sense. If it were a once or two time deal, then it'd be one thing. But he's been getting random wounds for years. It's the only explanation. But those wounds are mostly hidden. How would have Brushall ever found out about them? Trust me when I tell you he's got quite a nose. Whilst I can't prove how he found out, I can prove he did find out. If Mr. Brushall didn't know about the wounds, then something else he did makes no sense. The picture. Now I have to present it. These photos themselves prove Mr. Brushall must have suspected congenital analgesia. Take a look at them. These show a house with furniture full of protectors. How exactly does this relate to anything? Why would Mr. Brushall have shown them to Travis? That's because he was convinced Travis suffered from congenital analgesia. I keep saying that word the wrong way, I bet. Yeah, why? How does that make any more sense than previously? There is something that is really weird though. If WhiteHawke knew he suffered from that, why the hell was he working with tools, with carpentry and everything? He must have suspected he suffered from it. And she knew. Russell's very article on the condition explains, patients suffering from this condition tend to be sheltered and wear protective equipment in order to avoid damaging themselves without their knowledge. That sounds exactly like this house we see pictured here. Well...